very close to me, they know that I'm not very good in mathematics, though I like mathematics. Because when they say that something is a problem, you know that problem is having solution. But it can take you days to be able to get it. And I was to do my postgraduate studies. We got to the class. The HOD came up and he started telling us all the courses that will be done. He said, my dear students, you will do this, you will do this, you will do this. And he mentioned one course, advanced statistics. This advanced statistics is hard maths of those days, which they call further maths. Now, ordinary mathematics, they've not added anything to I have problem. And now they are talking of additional mathematics. It's like to say, we want to compound your problem. One day I was doing my quiet time. And I stumbled on John chapter 14, verse 13 and 14. You know what is there? Whatsoever you ask in my name, that will I do, that the Son might be glorified in the Father. I look at verse 14 only to see, if you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. And I went to underline the word whatsoever. I underlined the word anything. And I knelt down. I said, God, do you mean these two verses? You mean the two? I should request for anything. I said, earthly people know how to give examination expo to their children. And you are my own father. This lecturer, when he was setting the question, you were there. And Bible says the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and as a river of water, he turneth it to wherever pleases him. Go and get one question for me. Is he not part of anything? By the time the answer came, I regretted that I didn't request for the marking scheme. I regretted. Because if I've requested for the marking scheme too, he will give me. The one that can release the question paper, we do it. I came back from village outreach. That Sunday afternoon, I was tired, worn out, and completely exhausted. I mounted my bed without laying the bed. Only for somebody to come with a sheet of paper, and he handed it over to me. I look at it. The question was touching that particular course. And I know the way God speaks to me. 6 questions in all. We were to answer 4. Number 1 is compulsory. And that number 1 that is compulsory is my own area of strength. Define, explain, mention, list, enumerate. They were just there. Only to check number 2, calculation. Number 3, another stubborn calculation. Number 4, calculation. Number 5, calculation. As I was about to look at number 6, that angel withdrew the paper. They said we should answer 4. I've read 5. And there was one brother in my department, Brother Oyelabi. He read mathematics for his own first degree from University of Ilorin. And here was our lecturer who was so very, very funny. He will get to the class, he will be talking about previous days football. How many of you watched yesterday football? That is what we will do throughout the whole period. After he has left, Bro Yelabi will now be teaching us. But as for me, God has revealed the questions. You know what I did? And I prayed one prayer. God, I don't only want to pass this exam. I want to lead it, even if it is with 2 marks. Okay. What was I now doing? Every day like that, I will carry a question to go and meet Brother Oyelabi so that he will not suspect anything. Wisdom is a principal thing. The moment I give it to him, he will say, Bro, Joel, is this one you don't know? Help me, help me. He will help me. I will carry the second one, he will solve it. The third one, he solved it. The fourth one, he tried and tried and tried to help me to understand. You know the way worry man will say, he tried and tried, the thing no gree enter. But cramming is never my own problem. I memorized it. After cramming it, the day of the exam came, and I like sitting in front. I went to occupy one of the front seats. They distributed the question paper, the answer sheet, and they said, we must not open. I obeyed. The moment the vigilator said, start. As usual, I lay my hands on the locker. I pray. I look at the question. And I'm a type that will not smile. I will not laugh. You won't know whether it's... I was there, writing. You know the type of exam you will be writing, and your classmates will not be able to ask you for anything because they don't know whether what you yourself you are writing is good or bad. I was there. As I was writing, at one point I said, more papers. Because it happens to be the toughest paper for my class. Everybody was saying, Pastor. Some of them even said, are you writing the question back to them? I didn't answer them. At one point I said, more paper. They were all wondering, what is, and they call me pastor in the class. They said, Pastor, what is pastor writing? After the exam, I just left the class. And one thing I don't do after the exam, I don't discuss. Because if I begin to discuss with you and you are telling me the right answer, which I didn't write, it will only raise my BP. Therefore, I will not discuss. The results came. They said the man that read mathematics for his first degree got 82. And there is somebody that scored 84. And I know that will be my own mark. I went to the lecturer to check. I told you he's a very funny person. The moment I got to his office, he just said, close the door. Because he has pasted it at the back of the door. You will now check. After checking, he will ask you, what did you score? The moment he asked me, he said, Pastor, what did you score? Because I know I'm not the one that scored it. I said, God gave me 84. He said, we are not talking God here. Which God gave you 84? You! Go and check again. I went there to check. With this same index finger, I traced my name. He said, what did you now score? I said, I can see 84 in front of my name. What did God use to help me? And I said, I remember the prayer, even if it is with only 2 marks. Which means if I've requested for more, God will have done it. The only thing he did or used to help me is just the ability to be able to see the invisible. You can leave this place and begin to hear. You can start hearing the inaudible, seeing the invisible. And you're calling whether somebody allow you to preach or not. That is not your own problem. You will see. There is one man. I like this pastor so much. He started church on the air. And he's now doing IVG. The day he said, he's already having more than 1,000 people following him on the net. Every Friday like that, he will be doing night vigil on the air. Night vigil, digitally. And he will still be conducting deliverance. He will say, okay, the prayer hour is this period, the prayer hour is this. And this man started it even before COVID-19. People that can see far beyond. When God told Daddy Gio he was requesting for a house to be living, God said, I will give you a city. Those that didn't believe him that time, the Thomases inside of them might have died and bam and be buried now. Because we have been able to see the reality. Fire and revival. If you carry it. Only for that brother, the one that read mathematics, said something in Yoruba. He looked at me, said, Brother Joel, and your lumbar ti da. And I said it in Yoruba. Who now created you too? You said anyone that God has created, you can't compare yourself with that person. I said, who created you? Brethren, God is still interested in giving power. And that has been my prayer for long. Once this fire is there, you can't beg for what to eat, what to wear, money to spend. You can't beg for good placement in life. You can't beg. Okay, look at it. In Genesis 21:50, Hagar was crying for water, yet there was a well beside her. Without fire, one can be crying even while the solution is close to one's nostrils. Look at it. Next slide. One can be going astray without knowing if fire is not there. You remember the story of Balaam. Balaam was instructed to go and curse those people that God has blessed. He was there, he was going. God opened the eyes of the donkey he was riding. The eyes of the man on the donkey could not be opened. The day I read that place, I said, God, if you can open the eyes of an ordinary donkey, an ordinary animal, I will be more useful in your hand than an animal. Be opening my eyes. Be opening my eyes. If you can open the eyes of an animal, you can open my eyes. Balaam saw the donkey not going. He started beating the donkey. Situation that made the donkey to talk for the very first time in the history of mankind. Say, Oga, am I not the same donkey you have been riding for years? Have I ever behaved to you this way? In verse 31, Bible says, and God opened his eyes. He saw an angel with sword in his hand, drawn. Next one. There will be fear instead of faith if we are not revived. If we are not electrified, there will be fear. Gehazi woke up early in the morning without knowing his quiet time. He went out. He saw the armies of the enemies about to attack them. That is what he saw. He went back to the one that was carrying fire. Said, my master, we are finished. That one said, no, only for me to see in verse 17. God said, the master said, open his eyes. God, open his eyes. Open his eyes. By the time the eyes were open, I know Gehazi will be saying, Oya, come. You want to attack us before. Oya, come. And in verse 18, those that wanted to attack came. What did they see? He just told them, he said, God, blindfold them. Which means, if we carry fire, we'll be going about with both the cold and the hot. That's why anytime we are doing ordination in the Redeemed Christian Church of God at the Jew, always pray, whatever you bind on it, that's the hot one. And whatever you lose, the same thing, heaven we agree with it. Next. One will be open to deceit. Imagine if Peter was not carrying fire, Ananias and Sapphira, his wife, could have mocked the power of God successfully. Look at the church today. People will come to the church, they will dupe pastors, they will cheat pastors. Somebody was showing me one video today about Paul and Nietzsche. Somebody went to his church. He caught them red-handedly like this. They wanted to deceive him. They wanted to. He said, not here. That man said, not here. I said, I like this. How many of us have seen that video? You've seen it? Uh-huh. Can you see? That is what fire can do. One, we have to beg his member before meeting his needs. In 1 Kings 14:1-6, Ahijah did not beg before they came with food items. 10 people could not finish. If you carry fire, you don't need to manipulate tithes and doctor the offering before you eat. You don't need it. If you look at that time, Abijah, the son of Jeroboam, fell sick. Jeroboam said to his wife, arise, I pray thee, and disguise yourself that you will not be known to be the wife of Jeroboam. And go to Shiloh. See, there is Ahijah the prophet there. He prophesied that I will become king over these people. The prophecy has come to pass. I'm already on the throne. Take with thee 10 loaves of bread and crackling and cruse of honey. Go to him. He shall tell thee. Not that he may tell you. He shall tell you what will become of this thing. And Jeroboam's wife did so, pretended, and went to Shiloh and came to the house of Ahijah, but Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were set by the reason of his age. And the Lord said to Ahijah, behold, Jeroboam's wife is here. To ask 18 of thee, 18 from you, for her son. For that child is sick. Thus and thus you shall say unto her, for it shall be when she cometh in. The word feign. This word, feign, is pretend. She will feign herself to be another woman. And it was so, when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet as she came in at the door, that he said unto her, come in, thou wife of Jeroboam. Come in. Why pretending to be another person? I'm waiting for a period like this in the church. I'm waiting. One will be rough-handled anyhow. Look at it these days. Police will hold pastor like this. Hold pastor. And say you are under arrest. And one leg of the trouser will now jump like this. And police will now be rough-handling man of God. And by the time that one is released, you will hear, touch not my anointed. An anointed that has been rough-handled. Can you see? In the days of Elisha, who can go nearer? Who can go nearer and arrest? Who is that police that can arrest Elijah? If you are a policeman and they ask you, say, go and arrest Daddy Gio, will you go? Eh? What will you say? It's either you resign or do what? Because that may be the last assignment. It's either you will get there and surrender your life to Jesus, or you tell them the assignment is bigger than you. I pray that God will help us. I pray that God will help us. Leading people. if we are not having fire, this revival, leading people to God will be hard. Look at the way we are preaching these days. After many of our ministrations, we will now be begging members, come out. Come out. This may be the last message you will hear. Come out. When last did you hear that the GO threatening people? When last did you hear? It will just be there. Say, I know you are coming from a very far place. Come. I'm waiting. And people will be competing to come to the altar. But here, many of them, some of them will even come out to come and sympathize with us. Because once they discover that time has gone, and this man is not leaving the microphone, 2 or 3 will just go. They will just go and say, by the time he will release us now, let's go. Let's go. But if you carry fire, it's not like that. Okay. Once calling and consecration will be mocked. Do you know that these are the days when unbelievers in the church, unreached people in the church, will almost be pressing the nose of the pastor or be attacking the pastor through the tie. And the pastor will be dodging the head. I'm saying, be warned, be very careful, be very careful, be very careful. But look at this one. These uncultured children, 42 children in Jericho, they saw Elisha coming and they made the greatest mistake of their lives. If you are there, you will have heard these people singing, "Bar-headed man, bar-headed man." That was their last anthem. That was the last one. And after using anointing to kill 42 children in one city, nobody could arrest him with police. Who wanted to be used as another anointing specimen? Nobody was ready. Nobody could charge him for committing crime. I mean, how will you expect somebody after killing 42 children in a single city and everybody was keeping quiet? Everybody was. That is what fire can do. That is what it can do. Effect of not carrying fire. Quickly. One will become a disappointment to his generation. One will be a mere echo and not a voice. Look at it these days. When some pastors are preaching, just Google. You will know the original owner of that message. You will know the person who is the owner of that message. Many in the church these days are mere echo, they are never voice. But John the Baptist says, I am the voice of the one crying in the wilderness. I am not an echo. One will not be relevant to the need of his generation. One will be a man of no dignity. If you are not carrying fire, look at it. As we are here now, or early morning tomorrow, as you are waking up, you've not refreshed yourself, you suddenly meet with Daddy Gio, and he decided to shake you. What will you do with that hand? If you have not seen your children, what will you reserve that hand for? You've not seen your wife or husband, what will you do with that hand? The question is this: when will your own hand become a special hand? When will it become a special hand? If a man of God will touch you and you will be hiding the hand, imagine if we have 10 Daddy Gio in this church. Anywhere you see Daddy Gio going like this, there will be revival. Because his life is a revived one. You can't be mobilized without being you yourself being mobilized first. Okay. Why must we carry fire? We must carry fire so as to make impact. And why must we make positive impact? Many destinies are hanging on your own. See, as powerful as Daddy Gio is, as powerful as Daddy Kumu is, Baba Oyedepo and the rest of them, there are some people that no matter what they hear from them, their destiny is not attached. It's attached to your own. Until they meet with you, their life will never have bearing. Are you getting what I am saying? Many destinies are hanging on you, and you are important to God's plan. Say it, I am important to God's plan. You can do much more than what you are doing now if you can add a little dose of fire, a little spark of fire. You can do much more. God has deposited great things in your life which must benefit others. The only thing that will bring it out is what? Fire. In Acts of Apostles 28, if you read verse 1 and 2, Paul got to a place. He was feeling cold. He bundled the sticks together, put fire in it. The moment fire entered into those sticks, what happened? Snake came out. There are some things that are disturbing our life. The moment fire enter, they will come out. Now, you are born a star, and you must do what? Say, I am born a star, and I will shine. And I will shine. Your impact here on earth determines your reward in heaven. And, like I said, you must be a voice. And not what? You must be a contributor and not just a consumer. For you to be among the best and not among the rest is fire that will differentiate. Is fire that will do what? You will be remembered for whatever impact you make here on earth. God is a God of impact. Needed fire for evangelism, whether digitally or whichever means. Without being electrified, one might be doing spiritual work with the energy of the flesh. Little wonder, Jesus told his disciples to tarry at Jerusalem until what? They are endued with power. Do you know that it's possible to have pastors that are not speaking in tongues? And in this church, some years ago, I heard that without you speaking in tongues, you will never be allowed to become a worker. Abi? But look at today, when pastors are not speaking in tongues, how will you now describe it? Without fire, evangelism will be a very difficult task. Fire is the only ingredient the church does not have in evangelism today. We have money, we have equipment, we have diction. We have King's Grammar, Queen English. But we lack what? We have Queen English. Bombastic, jaw-breaking, mouth-tearing vocabularies. We have them. Somebody wanted to describe Daddy Gio. One day, one elderly mama, he said, I like Daddy Gio's English. His English is not kale kale, sim sim, logi logi. He said his English is always very simple. And is it not true? We have the Italian shoes, suit and towering hat, straight skirt, but we lack the greatest ingredients. Incidentally, what the world needs today is not money, material things, or equipment. Our straight skirts, towering hats no longer deceive them. They are interested in how many things? They have problems that drugs cannot cure. They are suffering from ailments that money cannot heal. They are inflicted with pains that clothing can no longer cover. And they are afflicted with problems that professional experience cannot handle. And they have now realized that it's only Jesus can save. They've gone to several harbor homes without results. They've now come to our churches, crusade and evangelistic campaign grounds. If we are not going to disappoint the world, we must do what? When Elisha received fire, he doubled the accomplishment of Elijah. Peter and other disciples were chicken-hearted, but when fire fell, they boldly declared Jesus to the world. The young prophet carried fire. If not, he would have been highly molested. Peter was a stark illiterate, yet his shadow healed the sick. What would have happened if Peter if he touched with his hand? If shadow was performing miracle, what would have happened if he touched physically like this? Elijah was a man of fire. He roasted all his enemy alive. I went to one of our parishes and one of our provinces in the north. I was sorry for myself that day. I was ashamed for myself. You know what happened? We wanted to enter the church. It's only me they didn't scream. All the true worshippers that came, they were now looking for metal detector. You see, they were checking all of them one by one, one by one. Someone that has come to worship his God. There is no power that we say, that man, don't enter, don't enter, don't enter. That thing in your pocket, remove it. That power is not, it has sneaked out of the church long ago. Power of old has gone through the back door. It has gone out through the back door. And we are now dancing. Hey, give me J, give me B. And after all the emotionalism in the church, nothing. We will say we are conducting deliverances. Oh, people will begin to fall down. The problem in their life will still remain standing. Where is the deliverance? Where is the deliverance? Okay. Elisha was also a fire carrier. What excuse do you have for not carrying fire? Look at Jesus. 14. John 12-13. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the work that I do, he will also do. And greater works. I fear this verse. Jesus was talking about greater works. The one that is not greater than the one he did, how can we handle it? And whatever you ask in my name, I will do, that his Father may be glorified in the Son. Can you see? Look at another one. Jesus was telling the disciples, and as you go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. When you are going out for evangelism at all, as you go, you need to preach. But not only preaching. Verse 8, he said, as you go, heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, cast out demons. Let's take them one by one. Heal the sick, say one. Cleanse the leper, raise the dead, cast out demons. Which of them can we do? Even preaching, we will go and take other people's messages and be preaching them. Internet messages. Look at our failure. Like I told you, and he came to the multitude. A man came to him, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he's epileptic and suffers severely, for often he falls into the fire and into the water. I brought him to your disciples, they could not cure him. That is what our church members are also telling us. They've come to us. It's only that the GO that can help them. And Jesus answered. And Jesus answered and said, oh, faithless and perverse generation, how long will I be with you? How long will Daddy GO be with us? How long? Bring him here. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the child was cured. He was cured that same very hour. That boy was cured. Then the disciple now came to Jesus privately, and they said, why could we not cast it out? Why? You know, they ask questions and they receive answer. So Jesus said to them, because of your own belief, I see unto you, if you have faith, you will tell mountain to move and it will be moved, and nothing will be impossible for you. This is the most powerless generation in the history of mankind. And God is seriously waiting for that life that we advertise his power here on earth. We need power. Power that no magician can contend with. Power that is carrying name that nobody can carry to the wicked ones. We are the one that must make the enemy afraid. Conclusion. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of man. Your church members are waiting. Your family members are waiting. You say God call you. Souls are waiting for you all over the world and time is running fast. The angels are monitoring you and God is watching you. They are not waiting for your new suits and your bow cuts. The only thing they are waiting for is what? Are you ready to manifest? What excuse will you give for your lack of fire? Bear it in mind that several destinies are hanging on your own. If you fail, they will fail. Your failure in the past is what is making them to fail. We cannot continue as a failure. Know this, that you cannot get much needed fire snoring on your sofa. Let's stop here. I will tell you a few stories that will provoke you. Few stories. I like reading history. There was a time I was reading many things about that Apostle Ayo Babalola. Ayo Babalola entered a place. They said that place, nobody can enter the place. Ayo Babalola said he will go. And he went there. They thought he would die. He made the place to become his prayer place, where they said nobody can go and come out. Ayo Babalola one time went to the mountain to pray. Where he lied down, mountain crossed his body to the other side. That snake crossed his body to the other side. The snake dried up. Snake. When this man died, come and see something. Thunder decided to strike. The room where this man was lying down cracked. It started cracking from the roof down to the foundation. And that was the only place that is having cracked today. The only place that was cracked that day. The day Babalola died, they said witches were celebrating. Their enemies has gone. Oh, their enemy has gone. Their enemy has gone. Their enemy has gone. 7 days after his death, the body was still found warm. Power refused to leave the body. And this Baba died, there is no replacement. I watched one ministration of Baba Daoza. Baba Daoza went to a place in the U.S. As he was going like this, he was going to the altar. He was coming like this and they said, we welcome to the podium Daoza of Africa. He was going like this, going like this. All of a sudden, he saw one woman on the wheelchair. Baba Daoza said, what? What an ugly sin where I want to minister. Get down, get up, my friend. Grab the hand. And that one started walking. Outside Africa. Outside Africa. This Baba, Obadare of blessed memory. I left our school. I heard that he was in Elisha. doing revival in one of the biggest CAC church. And I went there. Only for Baba to be talking. You know, you could not see physically. And that Baba was singing. Agbára Ọlọ́run pọ̀, agbára Ọlọ́run pọ̀, ó lànà sórí òkun, ó tún wó di Jericho. Meaning that God's power is so great, it's so real, it's so big. Put down the wall of Jericho and constructed roads. And this is, all of a sudden that Baba said, what am I seeing? What am I seeing here? What am I seeing? You still follow him to the prayer room. You, this man, you follow him to the prayer room. You follow him. I command you, enter into the bush. This man stood up in the midst of all of us, tear his clothes, and made his head straight into the bush. This is what I saw. It's not second-handed information. Baba Badari has gone. No replacement. You know what is making me afraid these days? All those that are now carrying fire, they are already old. In the next 8 months, Daddy Gio will be 80. Baba Kumuyi celebrated his 88th birthday last week or so. All those that are carrying fire, they are already old. What is this generation doing? Daddy Gio came to my village. One man was targeting the seat Baba used to sit down. The moment Baba decided to stand up, he went straight there. Carry it like this and brace it. And one usher went, he said, are you an usher? I said, today is not the day when you'll be asking whether I'm an usher or not. Today is not the day you'll be asking whether I'm an usher or not. Oh. This chair is sleeping in my house today. Another one met the two of them. That one said, what is the problem? They didn't know that that one too came with a mission. Broke one of the legs of the chair, said this. Another one came. In less than 5 minutes, they dismantled the chair because an anointed man used it. Daddy Gio went to Cameroon. You must have heard of this story. Daddy went to Cameroon, where they lodged him. He was to go back. He was to go to the venue of the program, only to meet heavy traffic that was so stubbornly thick to the extent that police could not control. One madman just surfaced. He started with Daddy Gio's vehicle and was leading. He was leading from Daddy Gio's vehicle. Who will see a madman instructing and you will say you are not led? He was leading. He was leading. He was leading. He was leading. I heard that by the time he has successfully led Daddy Gio out of the traffic, he stood beside the road. Look at the man of God, the fire carrier, the revived life. He saw him, look at him inside the vehicle with his hand at an attention and gave him a very hot salute. My daddy that told me that once said, Joel, I asked Daddy, I said, Daddy, did you see what that man did? Did you see it? You know, Daddy is a man of few words. He just said, Jesus is still the prince of all principalities. Now the question is this. Open your hands and put it together. Is there power there? If you continue like this for the next 5 years without this fire, how will you look like? If you continue like this for the next 5, 10 years, and one thing in this church, Whether the fire is there or not, title will be increasing. It will increase. You will go to God in any posture and cry for fire. Cry for it. You will say it. If you can just help me and make today my own personal day of Pentecost. I want to experience Pentecost. You are not praying. You are not praying.